Right at the home of Mr. and Mrs. Sawyer. We did some windows for them a little bit ago. Everything's going great with the windows, and now they're looking at some Hardie plank. So we got basically some vertical on here now. We're not sure on what style we're going to go with quite yet. We're going to sit down and talk about that, but I'm trying to get the video in before the light goes. So we'll start here on the left side. Really, aside from these, a couple, maybe 3 gable ends, all we have is just some little kind of apron siding and then some siding in the back. So all of this here, we're going to look at it both ways. It's a rough cedar. We're going to look at it both ways as far as doing a complete tear off or just using the existing as substrate. So we're going to look at that. We do have quite a few of these outrigger beams. Some of them, most of them, have some degree of rot. So we're going to repair whatever rot needs to be repaired. This one on the far end down here is really bad. This one has just some pretty severe, but not as bad as that other one. But most of them, like I said, have some degree of rot. So we'll repair all of those and then wrap them all in Hardie and flash the top of them just to prevent, again, any kind of water infiltration. We have a basically in most cases a 3.5 or 3.25 foot soffit. In some cases a 3-foot soffit. So we will be doing soffit and fascia. We have an 8-inch fascia. So that's kind of what we're looking at. We will be doing a fascia overlay, not a fascia replacement. Southwest did the roof about 10, 12 years ago, I guess. Everything's still great shape with the drip edge, everything like that. So we're basically just doing a fascia overlay with an 8-inch board. Coming around to the front here, we have a lot of this kind of apron. It's about a foot, barely over a foot wide or tall, but it's pretty much all circling the house. So that's all going to become Hardie plank as well. Inside the entry here, we do have some of our windows that are going to have to be obviously wrapped in the Hardie plank, and then all this siding inside this little entry area here will all become Hardie plank as well. Now with these arbor beams up here, you can see the first two closest to the walkway are in good shape. Those can be wrapped and flashed on top. The last two, not so much, so those will need to be replaced. It's a 10-foot long, I believe. I wrote it on my spec sheet, but I believe it's 10 foot, and these are just 2x10s. So those last 2 beams will replace and then encase those in Hardie, so they don't have this kind of rot that we see happening right now. This beam here, this column, the beam, porch beam, horizontal beam, all of that will be wrapped. It's about 20 feet, and it's a 1-foot beam wrapping both sides of the beam. All of this porch ceiling will become Hardie porch. So I believe we'll probably do a cedar mill, but we could do a smooth. We'll look at those options as well. But all of this front porch ceiling will also be Hardie porch. Again, all windows, front door, and then this bank of 3 windows here will all be wrapped in the Hardie plank 1x4. Garage door will be painted to match the new siding color. Again, we got more of that apron here. Gutters, we have gutters pretty much on all flat, horizontal, linear runs. We have gutters, so we're going to take the gutters off, dispose of them, and then we're going to give them Chris McClendon to use for a gutter referral. Again, some apron over the garage door that you can see here. And then we got some more beams. They're all about the same size. They're all about 4 feet, about 3.5 feet long. It's a 4x4-inch wide beam by a foot high. So all of them are the same size, and every single beam on the house, these 3, the 3 on the left, we got 3 on the right, will all be wrapped in Hardie plank after all the repairs are done. And then we got another gable here. The front gable, not big. But you can see the front gable as well that we will do in Hardie. Coming over to the right side, same thing. We got more of the apron, more of your soffit. This old vented soffit. This little rain gauge does need to be reattached. So after, you can see it's really rotting, right down here especially. after we're done with the fascia overlay system, we'll reinstall that rain gauge, and this area is going to have to be cut out. It's completely soft. So that'll be repaired before we continue with our fascia overlay. This door they would like to close in, so we'll just sheathe that with some OSB, and then whatever style of siding they select, we'll just cover that door over. Here's our 3 beams. We have 1 beam, 2 beams, and 3 beams, and then our small little gable here. Again, more apron back in here. So all of that will become Hardie plank, and again, same process on the beams. Do whatever rot repairs needed, and then wrap and fully encase those in Hardie plank. Coming to the back, there are a bunch of dead wires here. So we will remove the wires that are no longer useful or active, and dispose of those. Cable box will come away, we'll side behind it, and the conduit for the electrical, same idea. Now here on the porch ceiling, we talked about this porch ceiling. The preference is to side behind it now, based on what we learned out at DeVries, with it integrated into the ceiling, you know, the roof. We talked about that, so it's kind of a disclaimer. If possible, and our crews can accomplish it without creating any more work or detriment to the rest of the system, the roofing system, we will pull this away and complete the fascia overlay behind this porch cover on the fascia. If it can't, there's the understanding that if there's something that we, you know, determine that it would be a complication, then we're just going to fascia overlay up to it and around it and not remove it. You can see this area back here. Basically, we have a sliding door here. We're going to talk about the door too and see if we have an option for them. This little bit of siding here, and then again we just got an apron right up under that soffit all the way down the wall. And aside from the front windows, these are the only windows and doors that will need to be wrapped in Hardie 1x4. All the other windows and doors are in rock. Not painting any exterior doors. Just doing all of our siding here. And here you can see the soffit with the vent system. And that's pretty much what we're looking at as far as our scope of work. Again, all gutters will come down and we'll dispose of the gutters. Porch cover or patio cover back here, if we can do that without causing complication or any kind of further trouble, we'll pull it away, re-fascia overlay behind the gutter, or excuse me, behind the patio cover. And that's pretty much our scope of work. Again, siding style is yet to be determined, and whether we're doing a full tear-off, or an overlay, we're still looking at those options as well. So, Mr. and Mrs. Sawyer, we really appreciate you having us out, and we look forward to working with you guys once again. Thanks so much.